Hello, hello, everybody, and welcome to another IELTS journey with Fabi, where we talk about everything and anything IELTS test. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Fabi. I'm an IELTS expert here in Brisbane, Australia, and I help people improve their English level so they can apply for opportunities abroad. If you're ready to work, live, study, or um, work, live, or study abroad. That's it, three things. So if you're ready to work, live, and study abroad, you need to do the IELTS test. Okay, if you don't have the IELTS test, it's going to be impossible for you to achieve those goals. Why don't you tell me where you're watching me from? Where are you in the world? I usually get people from Chile, Colombia, Australia, Brazil. Tell me where you're watching me from. I love to know where you guys are watching me from. So, today we are going to talk about the reality. Yeah, today we're going to talk about the reality. And I don't know if you know, but just last Saturday, I closed the enrollment for my course, IELTS with Fabi. So lots of people joined, and we had our first welcome lesson yesterday. That's very, very exciting. So we had our first welcome lesson yesterday. And every time people can join my course, I talk to a lot of them because people have a lot of questions, right? And when these people have questions, I get to know more about them and more about YouTube. And I get to know more about how you guys are feeling, okay? And I spoke to a lot of people. I've heard lots of different stories. And I'm going to share some of these stories with you today because the topic today is how long does it really take to achieve your score? How long? If you're watching me now, how long have you been trying? Tell me. How long have you been trying, guys, to get the score you need for the IELTS test? I have, oh, where are my notes? Where are my notes? Because I had some notes here. Here, found it. Right here. I have some notes on the computer and some notes on paper that I'm going to share with you today. Okay. So if you're ready, just pop in the comments. How long have you been trying to get the score you need for the IELTS test? Okay. And we're going to start from there. All right. Cool. So, one of the most important things that we have to think about, guys, is when it comes to how long and how quickly or how slowly you get to your score, okay? What we have to think about mostly is the microphone's a bit funny today. It's a bit better now, I think. Yeah. Okay. Let me just turn this off. Okay. So we have to think about mostly, okay, guys, what we have to think about is how we are studying, how how we're doing things. And I'm going to tell you a very funny story in a few minutes. Okay. So it's not about how good your English is most of the time. Just this week, I'm working with some students and their level is very high, very, very high. I've been giving sevens in writing for a long time because their level is so high. Some of the students I'm working with at the moment. And this week, I had to give, yeah, I had to give two of them five. I had to give them five. And that's to show you that sometimes just good English is not enough. Okay. So the students have been getting straight 6.57, 6.57, 6.57, and then I had to give them a five. Why do you think that I had to give a five to students who were getting seven after seven after seven? Why? Why do you think that was? The writing that they did recently was one writing question that they had never done before. So, even though their English was very good, they did not know what to do. Even though I had explained it to them before, but it was the first time they were doing it by themselves and they got confused. Now imagine a person whose English is very good, advanced English, couldn't understand the question. And then a person whose English is not as good as their English got a higher score. This is just an example for you guys to see that having amazing English is not enough sometimes. You have to go ahead and improve your strategies, learn how the test works. It's a combination of both things all the time. And the fact that these two students, they didn't do that well proves that they still have to improve, even though they have been getting sevens. And how long is it going to take them? I thought they were at the seven, but they made a mistake. They were not aware of all types of questions that you can get in the writing. Okay, they got confused, even though I had told them about it before. For some reason, they forgot. And when they had to do the practice test, of course, not the real test, the practice test, they didn't do that well. Okay, so how long is it going to take? It's always a combination of English and strategies and clarity. Clarity. Okay, guys, because let me look at my notes. Okay, because another thing that we have to think about, let me just, here. Yeah, okay. Yes, because I'm going to tell you a person I spoke to yesterday, okay? So, yesterday, I managed to talk to a person who did the IELTS test for the first time in 2012. 2012. Okay. So she needs seven in each part of the test. Okay. So I spoke to her because she was interested in my course and she didn't know whether to join or not. And last week I did a lot of that, guys. People kept sending me messages on WhatsApp, and then I I'm happy to type, but I usually, if there's a lot of typing, I go, "Can I call you?" I do that to my friends, and I was like, "I'm going to do that to some of the students." Okay, fine. Fabi, you can call me. And then I called lots of people last week, actually. And yesterday, I was talking to another person. This one was a Zoom call. And we were talking about her IELTS journey. And she said, "Oh, Fabi, I don't know if it's the right time for me to join your course. I don't know." And then I said to her, "How many times have you done the test?" She said, "3 times." And I said, "Okay." And then I started taking notes. And then she said, "I took the IELTS test for the first time in 2012." And I said, "What?" She's like, "Yeah." And she got 5 for reading, 4.5 for listening, 6 for writing, 6 for speaking. She needs a 7. So when it comes to writing and speaking, she wasn't that far, right? It wasn't too bad. And then she only did the test again in 2019. So it took her another 7 years to do the test again. And then she said, and then the third time I tried, I got 4.5 in reading, 5 in listening, 6 in writing, 6 in speaking. And then she did the test again last year and she got 6 for reading, 5.5 for listening, 6.5 for writing, 6.5 for speaking. So as you can see, she's improving, but she's improving slowly. And then she told me, Fabi, I don't know what the problem is. I really don't know. And I said, okay, let's find out. Let's try and find out. Okay. And then as we started talking, she told me, well, the first question I asked was, how are you studying? And she said, well, it's been a combination of some English courses and private classes. And I said to her, how many times did you study with an IELTS expert? And she said, never. And I said, okay, so that's a problem because she's studying with people who don't know the test very well. So the people who have been helping her don't know the test very well. And again, guys, remember, her first test was in 2012, and we're 2024 now. Okay, 2024. And then I started talking to her, and then she said, oh, Fabi, I'm using these two books to practice. I said, whoa, that's great. These books are very good. And she said, okay, so why can't I get the score if I'm using the good books? And then I said to her, which book are you using for the tests? And she's like, these ones. I said, these are not good book for tests. These are good books for you to practice strategies. And she said, I didn't know that. I was like, yes. Okay. Can you see, guys? She was doing the right thing. She had good books to study, but she wasn't using it the right way. And what's that doing to her journey? Slow, slow, slow. And that's why I'm here today to talk to you about how long is it going to take. You might think you're doing the right thing, but maybe you're doing the right thing in the wrong way. She grabbed an IELTS book. She grabbed a very good IELTS book. And then she was using it the wrong way. Okay. So that's what we have to think about when we are in our IELTS journey, going through our IELTS journey. Getting the right information all the time. Clarity. Having things that are very, very clear. These are the most important things in your IELTS journey. To know how long it's going to take. And guys, you can imagine how many times I heard this question last week. Fabi, I'm interested in your course, but how long is it going to take me to get there? Fabi, I have 2 months. Fabi, I have 1 week. Fabi, my test is in 3 days. I get that all the time. All the time. People calling me, asking me, sending me messages. Okay. You've seen it on Instagram. You've seen it. Okay. So that's the thing. So, how long is it going to take you to get there? Okay. It depends on how you are doing things, how well you are doing things, how clear you are about your. We're going to talk about goals later today. We're going to talk about goals too. Okay. How are you going to do things? Okay. Cool. So, um, even though, okay, people are different and it depends a lot on where you are, where you want to be, how you're doing things. Are you getting help? Are you not getting help? Okay. There is an average. Okay. There is an average of time that it might take you to get the score that you need to get. Okay. There might be an average. So, for example, if you are, let's say that you are intermediate right now, which is a B1, okay? Intermediate B1, you know that, right? If you don't know that, go back to some of my lives. Okay. So usually people who are intermediate level, we say they are B1 in the Common European Framework or CEF. Okay. So let's say that you are intermediate, but you want to be a 6. Intermediate is 5. Upper intermediate is a 6. Okay. If you are studying by yourself, maybe 12 months. With help, 2 to 3 months. I always say 2 to 3 months because from my experience with my students, okay, it takes about 1 month for people to really know the test, and then about 1 month for them to practice and really know where they are. Okay, because when you start, you might be at a very low place, and some people they improve very quickly and they know where they are straight away, but others takes a little bit longer. So so I'd say 2 to 3 months. Okay, and also because to get a 6, um I think that if you have very good so English but very good strategies, you can get a 6. I don't think it's that difficult to get a 6, honestly speaking. Not that hard. Okay, so that's how long it would take you. But if you do it alone, just like the student I was just talking about, she's been trying the IELTS test for 12 years. And in 10 minutes talking to her, I already noticed a few things that she was doing wrong. And if she fixes that, she might get half a point more. But of course, she needs more. She needs proper feedback. Okay. So just a few changes. Okay. But again, remember, guys, if you decide to study alone, it will take you longer. If you have the time, that's okay. But if you want to achieve your score in the next 6 months, I'd recommend getting help. Okay. Let's say that you are upper intermediate or B2 and you want to be a 7. 7 is advanced. Okay. 7 is advanced. So I think it will take you, with help, 2 to 4 months. Fabi, why? Oh, and if you want to study by yourself, year and a half to get a 7. Okay. Why? Oh, why, Fabi? Why to get a 7 takes longer than a 6? Well, to get a 7, your English needs to be very good. And sometimes it takes people a little bit longer to improve their English level. Okay, it takes them a little bit longer to improve their English level. So, with strategies, like I said before, with strategies, I don't think it's very difficult to get a 6 on the IELTS test. Okay, however, if you need a 7, your English needs to be academic. So you will have to improve your grammar. You have to improve your vocabulary. Okay. You have to start using more academic words. With the vocabulary, with the grammar, you will have to use more complex grammar. And not only use complex grammar, you will also need to improve your accuracy, meaning not make mistakes. Okay, you will have to do that too. So just think about it. Okay, so to get that, okay, so again, if you are a 5 intermediate level, to get to a 6, 2 to 3 months with help, 12 months no help. If you are upper intermediate, which is a 6 on the IELTS test, and you want to get a 7, okay, which is advanced, with help, 2 to 4 months, no help, more than a year, way more than a year. And of course, if you want 8, some people need 8. If you want to be a teacher here in Australia, you need 8 on the IELTS test. I think you need 8 in listening and speaking and 7 in reading and writing. I think that's what it is. Yeah, I think that's what it is. So you need that. Okay. So if you need an 8, 6 months with the teacher and maybe up to 2 years if you don't have help, if you decide to do it by yourself. Okay. And Fabi, how do you know that? That's what I see, guys. That's what I see. You know, like again, this student, she's been trying for 12 years. And if I get to help her, maybe in 6 months, she will get there in 6 months. So sometimes that's you need just a little push. Okay, just a little push. And after this push, you improve a lot and you'll be able to get what you need, the score that you need. Okay, you'll be able to get it. Goody, goody. Okay, now, are you ready? I'm going to help you now. Are you ready? You ready? If you get a piece of paper, now is the time. Now is the time. Are you ready? Are you ready? Someone said, hello, Fabi. How are you? Greetings from Mexico. Hello, Moses. How are you? Guys, you can tell me where you're watching me from. Okay. I love to know where you guys are watching me from. Okay. So if you're ready, grab a piece of paper. Okay. Grab a piece of paper. And I have some questions for you to help you. Okay. My first question for you is, what score do you need? Write it down. What score do you need? After you write down the score that you need, what is your current level? What is your current level? Someone said hello. Hello, Antonio. How are you? What is your current level? And do you have a plan or are you doing it alone? Okay. All right. So, what is your level? Okay. What score you need? What is your level? And are you doing it alone? Okay. Okay. Cool. So, again, if you want, you can pop in the comments the score that you need. Okay, guys. And also where you are. Okay. Because that will make a big difference. So, these are the first questions I ask people when they get in touch with me. And then, of course, I ask them, what are you doing the IELTS test? Okay. All of these things. So, if you need a 5 and your English is upper intermediate, maybe it's not going to take you that long. Okay. But if you are intermediate and you want to get to advanced, which is a 7, that might take you a while to get to where you need to be, especially if you decide to do it alone. Okay. It will take you much, much longer. All right, guys. And lots of people who come to me, they have done the test so many times because they have been studying by themselves. And then when and then it's funny because they meet me and within 2 months they get the score. And they think I did magic. I had a student, she used to say, "Oh, Fabi does magic." I don't do magic, guys. I don't do magic. I just help you. And when I tell you what you need to do and you do what you need to do, guess what? You get great results. Okay. So that's why it's important to have someone telling you what to do. Like, so yesterday we had the welcome lesson for my course, IELTS with Fabi. And then I told them, I said, guys, you paid me to tell you what to do. Okay. So, first of all, do what I say. You paid me for that, number one. And number two, if you get lost, if you don't know what you're doing, send me a message and I'll tell you what to do. That's my job, literally my job. You paid me to help you. So that's what I'll do. Okay. And sometimes when you're doing everything by yourself, there's no one to help you, no one to talk to. Okay. So that can be very, very complicated most of the time. Okay, most of the time. Okay. Do you have any questions for me, guys? Any questions? Yes. So as I said, Fabi, my current level is B1, B2. I need 6.5, but I need 7 in speaking. Is that possible in 2 months? Moses, first question. Are you going to study by yourself or with help? Okay. Because Moses, 6 to 7, like I said before, 6 to 7 takes a little bit longer. And to be able to get a 7 in speaking, you really need someone to give you feedback. Because 7 in speaking, it's quite advanced. And if your level is B1, B2, you are below your level. Okay? So I would be a little bit worried. I would definitely try to get some help because your English needs to be advanced, especially for speaking. Okay. So maybe I would say more than 4 months. Okay. Yeah. But you should get help. Get help, please. 100%. Okay. What are you applying for, Moses? Can you tell me? What are you applying for? Under comment here. For me, it's interesting, so Antonio, for me, it's interesting to practice with you to improve my level. I think that my level is intermediate. Okay, Antonio, intermediate. Yeah. So if you were to do the IELTS test today, you'd get a 5. You'd get a 5 if you were to do the test today. Okay, because intermediate level is about a 5 on the IELTS test. Okay, it's about a 5. All right. So Moses, tell me what you're applying for. I'll let you know. 7 in speaking. It's good. Good level, but quite advanced, unfortunately. Quite advanced, but it's good. And again, guys, like I keep telling people, in your IELTS journey, make sure you're studying English also. Improve your English because then when you achieve the score you need, okay, you want to do a master's somewhere in the world. You want to do a master's. So what's going to happen? You can speak English, you get the score, but you're not very confident about your English. So that's not very good. Okay, so Moses says something here. Thank you. I have been practicing with a tutor. I think I'm improving. Perfect. Perfect. Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, and just ask your tutor, what do you think I am? What score do you think? Okay. And guys, you can always go to the band descriptors online. Okay, so just go to Google and type IELTS speaking band descriptors, and there they will tell you exactly what you need to do. Okay, to get your 7, Yeah, and ask for feedback. As all the time, guys, ask for feedback. Okay, and also feedback is not only about telling people what they did wrong, but it's also telling people what they need to do to improve. Okay, so because teachers, when they are, IELTS experts, when they are reading someone's writing or listening to someone speaking, okay, in their mind, they're thinking, oh, this could be better, this could be better, this could be better. I told you I have lots of friends who are examiners. And I was talking to some of my friends, and then she said, oh my God, when we're doing the test, sometimes I want to pause the person and say, hey, you shouldn't say it like this. You should say it like this. That's what she told me. And I said, wow, that is, and I said to her, that's what I do. And she's like, oh my God, Fabi, keep doing that. Because some students, I feel like they come to the IELTS test, the official test, and I feel like they've never practiced. Yeah, and she said, oh my God, there are so many small things that they can do to improve. And I said to her, I know that. And that's my job. She's like, keep doing it, please, because I want to give everyone a high score, but I can sometimes. So I was like, okay, cool. I'll help them. Don't worry. And that's why I'm here to help you guys. Okay. Do you have any questions for me, guys? Any questions? Pop the questions in. Okay, I'm just gonna give you like a little summary of what we talked about today. So today we talked about how long does it really take you to achieve the score that you need on your IELTS test? How long does it take? Okay, so the amount of time that takes you is based on how you are studying. It's not about your level. Okay, it can be about the level, but sometimes not really about the level. It's more about how you are doing things. Okay, if you do it by yourself, it will definitely take you longer because it's going to be hard for you to know exactly where you are. Okay, and working with clarity and good strategies sometimes is even better than having good English. Okay, but remember, to get a 6, strategies can be enough. But if you need a 7, then you really, really need to stop and also focus on your English level so you can achieve the score that you need. All right. If you want to get in touch with me, if you are in any of my WhatsApp groups, you can send me a message on WhatsApp and I will reply. If you watch me on Instagram, usually Fabi underscore English, you can send me a direct message and I will also reply. Okay. And you can always watch this on YouTube, Fabi English on YouTube. All right. I'll be back on Tuesday with more for you. Bye.